You're back. Let's do this. This is a super cool episode. We're talking with somebody from Memphis, Tennessee, and he is super talented. He's made his passion his career. Let's dive into this episode. We've got tons of knowledge to share with you. Alrighty, everybody, welcome back to the Unrecognized podcast. I am your host, Reese Schnacke, and with me today, I have Connor Ryan out of Memphis, Tennessee, I believe, correct?
Yep, Memphis, Tennessee.
Sweet. So people are gonna be hoping for an accent. You're
Well, contrary to every TV show about Memphis ever, people around here don't have super dramatic Southern accents.
That's funny.
For me, it comes out a little bit,
Yeah.
like when I get excited, but for the most part, we don't really have the Southern drawl, you know.
That's all right. So yeah, tell the listeners a little bit about yourself.
So yeah, I'm a Memphis-based photographer, videographer. I started about 3 years ago with photography for real, I'd say. I bought my first camera, and I bought it actually to start doing video, but it turned into photography just because my computer at the time couldn't edit videos.
Yeah.
And now it's just like turned into like a new career for me, which was kind of the goal when I started, but I didn't think everything that's happened for me so far would happen so quickly.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. That's funny that you say the computer can, because I definitely know that struggle, you know, when you're rendering stuff at like a 4K video or something, your computer is just lagging like crazy.
Yeah. I mean, this was my laptop from college, so it was like 5 years old.
Yeah.
And I don't think I'd ever edited a video on it before that point, and it couldn't even do like 720p files. It was rough. I got maybe 3 videos out of it before I just gave up.
Definitely. Yeah. It's like that's a struggle. It's annoying. But so yeah, how did the start look for you? Like you said, you started kind of trying to do video, but then it transitioned to photography. What did that look like?
Yeah. So I started actually doing video because I got into watching Casey Neistat vlogs, which I'm sure if you've watched any YouTube and you're into photography or video, you know who Casey Neistat is.
For sure.
And I just really liked his like storytelling style and the way he could like just turn what seemed like the most mundane things into a exciting story. So I wanted to start doing my own videos like that, just making vlogs, not necessarily daily vlogs like Casey does or did, but I wanted to start making my own videos just about things I was doing and all that. So like my very first video, I actually used my brother's GoPro, and I just like went longboarding down this like walking path near my house at the time, and like used the Casey style angles, and like, you know, I'd place the camera, hit record, walk down the path, ride by on my board, walk back, you know, in the recording, you know, and spliced all that together. And then my first big video I made was a travel vlog to New Orleans, and that's still on my YouTube channel, which that was a lot of fun to make. It ended up being a pretty exciting story because we went there on a weekend when a hurricane was about to hit.
Oh, dang.
So it was not fun at the time, but it made for an exciting video, I guess.
Right. Yeah.
So yeah, that's how it started for me with camera gear, and I was taking some photos.
Sure.
I had a Sony A5100, I think. That was my first camera. But yeah, it was really just video focused until that New Orleans vlog. I was just like, it took me probably about 3 weeks to edit just based on the time constraints with my computer and my work. So I gave up on video. But then I started using Adobe Lightroom CC, you know, which you can download to your phone. And I could take photos with my Sony camera and upload them to the cloud service through Adobe, and then edit them on my phone at work. So when I had downtime at my day job, I would practice photo editing, like watch YouTube videos, and, you know, try not to get in trouble doing that. But that's how I started getting more into the photography side with my camera. And it just seemed to like really take off for me. Like I really enjoyed the editing process. I like became obsessed with it. I'd still say I am like obsessed with like editing and
Yeah.
coloring photos and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's
Uh,
super fun.
so yeah, and that was like during the winter when I got into photo, and it was where I live in Memphis. It's not very photogenic during the
Yeah,
winter, so it's kind of hard. But when the summer rolled around, like I started going to downtown more, doing stuff like that, and that's when like my like local recognition started to take off.
right.
Like I found a whole new community of people who were doing photography, video, just based on like Memphis and for their own personal things, and really it just began to change my life a lot after that. Once I discovered this new community of people.
For sure. Yeah, when was that? Like, so was that last year? Like last winter?
Um, when I started really getting into the local photography community,
Yeah.
that was beginning of 2019. So
Okay.
about a year and a half after I started doing
Nice.
photography.
So you've really seen like a big change in it in your life, like the last couple of years.
Yeah, like not to sound like pompous or anything, but I
No.
have walked down the street in downtown Memphis, and it's happened on multiple occasions at this point. Like people will recognize me for photography. Like this one dude yelled out of his car at me. He's like, "Yo, Connor."
That's funny.
It's like, who is yelling at me? He's like, "I love your photos, dude."
Yeah.
Like, and I was actually with another group of photographers at the time, and they were all just looking at me like,
Your dog. Yeah.
this guy.
That's awesome though. I mean, that's the power of social media, and it's definitely taking a big, like, it's really important nowadays. So
For sure.
what would you say like some of the hardest times were once within the past couple of years, I guess, once you found that community and stuff, what did it look like for like the hard times?
Um, so I guess the hard times has been figuring out what exactly my role is with my photography in this town, because a lot of people around here who do photography full time is they're wedding photographers,
Mm-hmm.
and that's something I've never really found interest in.
Yeah.
I'm not opposed to doing weddings, but I have never wanted to make that my whole source of income.
Mm-hmm.
And Memphis is kind of behind in a lot of ways on like social media marketing, advertising. Just they don't realize the importance of a social media presence in this
For
town.
sure.
Some
Yeah.
people do. A lot of businesses do, and the ones that do are doing well.
Right.
But the hard part, I guess, was finding where I could fit in to work with the local businesses, local tourism board,
Yeah.
and like carve my own path, which is kind of what I've had to do. It's a lot of it's just been figuring out things on my own.
Mm-hmm.
I'm slowly figuring it out. Like I have a few opportunities on the table right now that could altogether they work with my brand, which is like showing off Memphis, like just lifestyle
Yep.
things. And like, again, working with businesses, I like to help businesses tell their story.
Yeah.
Because story is everything, you know, no matter
Mm-hmm.
what you're doing.
For sure.
So I guess I would say that's been the hard part.
Yeah.
And, you know, with COVID, obviously,
Yeah.
that hasn't helped with opportunities. It hasn't taken all of them away, but
Yeah, for sure.
I did lose a few big opportunities because of the start of the pandemic last year.
Yeah. Yeah, that's been a hard one for a lot of people, including myself. I actually do a lot of DJing. So it was like, all right, well, I'm just gonna say goodbye to that. And that's what I basically did. I think it was March when that all started happening. And that was like the first time in my life I had every single weekend was booked for a different gig. And I was
Wow.
like, dang, got to like, I think I ended up doing the last one was like St. Patrick's Day that year. It was like a show and then I was done. So really a sad deal. But on that note, what were some of the best things, would you say? Like what have been some of the coolest opportunities and features of your work and stuff like that that you have capitalized on?
So the best things, the highlight of last year, I have to say, is in terms of like my photography career. There was this new, you could call it like a brand website that was started towards the end of the year.
Mm-hmm.
The name of it's called Discover Memphis Naturally, but the idea of it was basically to take all of the outdoor, physical, active, fun things that we have to do in this town and congregate them into one social media page, website, just one source for people to find active things to do in town. There wasn't really something like that before. Like we have one big park here called Shelby Farms Park that we're very well known for. It's like the biggest urban park in the country. Lots of things to do there. But aside from that, there wasn't really a source for fun, active things. And apart from photography, like I do sports, like I longboard, I run, I'm a pretty active person.
For sure.
So being as that was already part of my lifestyle, when this new brand came along that was promoting these things in Memphis, I saw that as a good fit for, you know, my interest, what I'm already doing. Like I'm bringing my camera anywhere anyway, or everywhere I go. So like I immediately reached out to them when I heard about this brand and told them, hey, I love what y'all are about. I'd love to work with you. And turns out the brand was started by another company that I'd done a few freelance gigs with.
Oh, sweet.
And they're like, oh, Connor, we already have a lot planned for you. Don't worry. We'll get in contact soon.
That's awesome.
Yes.
Yeah.
So long story short, I ended up getting paid to do 2 months worth of like photography, videography, all original content for Discover Memphis Naturally. And it's been the biggest paycheck I've had so far, and helped me exceed my income goals for my photography business last year. Like I doubled my total sales goal, which is pretty crazy.
Yeah, that's awesome.
All things considered. So that was definitely the highlight. And because of that job, I was able to buy a Canon R5, which, you know, is like the hot new Canon camera to have.
Yep.
And that's really helped up my video
for sure
quality a lot.
Yeah, definitely. It sounds like you have a good like niche and a good understanding, and I think that'll take you far in itself, just of like the Memphis area. Like it seems like you're really kind of not locked in, but like you have a good focus on them, you know. And I think that's like any new brand that pops up in Memphis, it's like you kind of have paved the way to make yourself the go-to guy, which is super cool. And
yeah, that's what I've driven to be. Like when people start something, or like they need photos, they need videos, I want them to think of me for the bigger stuff. You know, I don't want to be called up to take photos of your family gathering, or little Susie and Bobby with their outfits or whatever. Like I've wanted to aim for the higher tier projects.
Yeah, the more adventurous. And that's something that a lot of people, and you said like that was the struggle, and I think that's something a lot of people struggle with too, like including myself and other like photographers I know, and just creatives in general, is like they know, you know, you need a niche, but it's like, oh, I have this wedding gig that I could make, you know, $500 this weekend if I go do that, and put aside my 5 other adventure vlogs that I'm editing, you know. So it's like it is hard to like stick with what you want to do, but if you do stick with it, it's like you're seeing the benefit. Now you've created, you know, this path where people are going to come to you for like, oh, if I want a new active company or something starting up, you're going to get that gig like 9 times out of 10 because you've positioned yourself. So that's cool.
Yeah. And that's exactly what it is. A lot of it is just like having patience, like knowing what you want to do and letting people know that's what you want to do and that you already do it. And just, you honestly just have to wait sometimes for those opportunities to come across. You can't always just go out and find them. And when people come to you, it's a lot easier. You don't have to sell them or convince them as much on your value because they're coming to you.
Exactly.
Like they already know they want to work with you. So that's kind of been my approach. It's kind of hands off, but also like it's intentional too.
Yeah. You definitely like create your more value for yourself, really.
Right.
What would you say like some of the most important things you've learned, like big lessons that you've learned from sticking with it and just continuing in your career with it?
Well, aside from like learning business and entrepreneurship essentially from scratch, it's been like a a really big personal journey for myself, because when I graduated from college, I had a degree in finance. Like I was planning to go into banking, which I still technically work for the bank.
Yeah.
But that was what my plans were after college. But when I got into my job, I realized pretty quickly, like, I don't want to do this the rest of my life.
Yeah.
And that was like another reason I started making videos and photography.
Mm-hmm.
I saw it as a way out of the bank.
Right.
But like working for a bank, you only need so many skills. Like I can work in Excel very well. I can send emails and like tell people like, hey, this has been done, that this needs to be done.
Right.
It's pretty simple. But when you like go out and just completely pursue a new path, like photography or video, just a new realm emerges and you aren't always equipped,
right.
to deal with something like that. And I've like changed a lot socially. Like I used to be like more reserved. I wasn't ever the first to speak in a room.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't feel like my opinions really mattered.
Right.
Like, I might sound bad, but I just didn't really
Right.
feel like I was ever compelled to speak or add my voice to anything. But now I've had to go out there. I've had to meet so many new people because of photography and videos, and put myself in situations where I'm the center of attention, which I've never really dealt with before.
Right.
It's opened me up a lot as a person to be more expressive. And it's helped with like my other friendships, my relationships with family, all that stuff. It's just made me a better communicator. And it's gotten rid of a lot of my social anxiety that I used to have. Like it's pretty much gone now, aside from, like, it's still weird with the current situation, going out and seeing a bunch of people. That gives me anxiety because of other reasons. But
right.
Yeah, it's been really good on a personal level, just building my self-esteem and all that. And like, I feel like my work is valued by people and I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing.
Yeah, definitely.
And
I think that's, yeah, for sure. I think that's a very cross, what would you say, population problem? Not a problem, but like it's a real thing, obviously, with a lot of us that are just like, who are we before? But then, we work at something, putting our passion into it, and we come out, having a bigger opinion and bigger understanding of stuff. It's pretty cool. Like when you follow your passion, it's kind of like the rest comes,
Mm-hmm.
The work, the career, all of it. So having said that, like looking at your Instagram and website and stuff, you definitely have a style. What would you consider like your style? What's like the most excited you get for like photo shoots or videos? What's your favorite?
So most excited, I'd say like, I really like dark, moody, to use an overused term, moody. But that's how I always get described.
Yeah.
Just darker, more dramatic photos with, the shadows emphasizing the subject, like drawing your eye into certain things. But I also like to use color, because like, aside from like the lighting, I think the lighting kind of like shows you what you're supposed to look at, but the color makes you feel something. So you like combine those together, and that like creates the entire feeling of the photo. But I also like to do lighter photos. It's not always dark.
Right.
If I had to say my favorite, yeah, it's definitely darker. And if there's fog involved, absolute favorite. Fog
that's an
always,
awesome effect.
Yeah, like it always gives like a cinematic kind of feel. I'd probably say that too. Like I like to have a cinema feel to the photos. Not so much look like a photograph, but more like a scene from a movie or a painting.
Definitely.
Something like that.
Definitely. Yeah. And I see you're doing like a lot of kind of TikTok videos of kind of helping, tips and stuff like that. That's really cool. I was just talking with another photographer out of Washington. I think it was yesterday we recorded our episode, and he was just very hesitant on TikTok. How has that been for you, kind of paving your way in that?
Well, I was also hesitant for a while. I think I made my first TikTok towards the end of 2019.
Yeah.
Because this other photographer I know in town, he was doing really well on TikTok. And like, I'm not going to mention his name, but I thought his photos were okay. But on TikTok, people were just eating them up. And I was like, well, if people love his photos, and they're really going to love mine.
Right.
So I get on there. I made a few videos and nothing took off like I was hoping. So I got discouraged and just didn't go on the app for a long time.
Yeah.
Didn't even like open it ever. But in November, we had a big photography meetup in town called Grind City Meet. Something that's run by a few people here, and a bunch of photographers come from like different cities too, but mostly in Memphis. We just gather and like, hang out, network, meet people. It's just a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
But one of my friends, he's TikTok famous now. He's got like 1.4 million or something.
Sweet.
And I knew this dude when he was just like a regular guy, in Memphis.
Yep.
And last year he just has completely changed his life because of TikTok. And he came in town for the meet. And I was like, Sage, what do I got to do to grow my Instagram? He's like, you got to get on TikTok, bro.
Right.
I was like, I knew you were going to say that. I knew you were going to say that.
Super true.
Yeah. So he gave me a few video ideas. I don't even know if I used them, but he basically gave me like, here's what you basically have to do to succeed on TikTok. And I was just like, screw it. I'm going to do it till I figure it out, kind of thing. So I started regularly posting last November. Just any ideas I had. I was like trying to do funny stuff, like showing off my skills, and then some informative things too. And it seems like the funny stuff takes off the most.
Right. Yeah, it's definitely a more moments and jokes type of app, but
yeah. So like one video me and my brother made got like 1.1 million views, and I've had a few others that have done pretty well, but I'm still trying to figure out like what works best.
Yeah, like the consistency.
Yeah. I mean, I like doing the comedy stuff. It's just hard to always have good comedy ideas,
Right. Yeah.
Like that's a lot of pressure without getting too ridiculous.
For sure.
So like I've tried to mix in the informative content, but I'm still trying to figure out like if that really works on TikTok, because
definitely
it's kind of inconsistent at this point. But
I definitely agree. It's super inconsistent, but I think like some of the first ones, I'm kind of looking now, I think some of the first videos that I really saw of yours were these like the speed ramp drone videos. They're really crazy. Like you have a lot of, like, your drone stuff is very impressive to me, for sure.
Thank you. Yeah, I have a very limited amount of drone videos that I actually like now. So I gotta travel and film some more.
For sure, dude.
Someone commented, "You're just gonna recycle this as long as you can, won't you?" One of my videos, like my speed ramp clips. I was like,
why wouldn't you?
Yeah.
I mean, it works, sadly, but not even sadly. It's actually pretty cool that you can just continue, because every time new people are obviously seeing it as well, so it's never a bad thing. I think it's sweet though. I fly a little bit of drone. I have like a Mavic Mini, or not a Mavic, Mavic Air I have. And I follow dirt bikes on that thing, and that's like a whole different flying method than the cinematic stuff.
Oh yeah,
that's like sport mode. Try to keep it as stable as possible and just fly. But it's super fun. I love drones.
Yeah, Mavic Air was my first drone. I have Mavic Air 2 now.
That's nice. Yeah, I flew the Mavic Pro a little bit too, and those are super big upgrades. It's crazy. The video, the stability, all of it's super crazy. But on that note, what would you say? Any other inspirational words or anything for like new creators, new photographers?
So I'd say if you're just getting into photography or video, like just try everything. You might not know what you like until you try it, and that could be something that seems really off-putting to you. But yeah, you just got to try new things, see what works, see also what people like that you make, because you might like really doing something, But if people aren't digging it, you know, maybe you can keep doing it for fun, but it might not take you where you want to go with your photography video. So find what you like doing and also what people like that you do. Right. And then really just like go in on that, work hard, learning, watching videos. One thing that's helped me learn quickly with all this stuff is just repeatedly watching YouTube videos, like anything. Like you might watch 10 different videos about Lightroom editing, and like people might have 8 of the same tips in each of those videos, but each different video might have 2 tips different from the last one. Right. So you like pick up little things here and there, and it all adds up eventually. And just never stop learning and be obsessed. You got to be obsessed if you want to get anywhere.
That's right. Be obsessed with your craft.
Yep.
And that's the main goal of this podcast too, is to really just have another outlet for people. You know, not everybody listens to podcasts. Honestly, before I started recording one, I didn't really listen much either, but it's like it's crazy how much information people have. You know, it's like you could talk to people all over the US that are doing photography, because we know there's plenty of photographers out there. And yeah, it's a crazy saturated industry, but it's like you said, it all adds up. Every little piece of information that you hear and learn and, you know, take from each other is awesome. So definitely super excited about this episode with you. Everybody, I will link the Instagram and TikTok and stuff to the end of this video, as well as in the description. What is your Instagram again? It's just Connor D. Ryan.
Yeah, Connor D. Ryan, CONNOR DRYAN.
Sweet.
Same for TikTok.
For sure. And then is your website link in your bio?
Yeah, maybe not. But my website's going to be undergoing some construction, so I'm not going to send anyone to that right now. Yeah.
And before we go too, do you want to let people in on anything for the future for you?
Well, expect, again, like my website's going under construction because I'm like starting off with like a whole new business format. Like I just got an LLC, so we'll be doing a big rebranding here soon. That's all coming when it's ready, but it's a lot to work on. So
yeah, definitely
excited about it though.
Yeah, for sure. This guy definitely puts out some awesome TikTok videos for help and stuff like that too, and some sweet pictures on his Instagram. So
thank you.
Make sure to check him out, and hopefully everybody enjoyed, and we'll hopefully work again in the future for sure.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, Reese.
For sure. Thanks for coming on. Thanks again for all of you who listened. That was a ton of knowledge and just super cool. Check Connor out on TikTok and Instagram. Also check us out on Instagram and iTunes, Spotify, and YouTube for more content. Until next time. Peace.